Everybody knows what a tough steer show this is here at Spanish Fork. It's getting a reputation, and when you win first here, you just done accomplished something.
I'd like to tell you a story about how Robert Redford and Willie Nelson saved the oldest junior livestock show west of the Mississippi. Our tale is set in Spanish Fork, Utah. And while Spanish Fork has many stories just like any other town, we want to talk about this one. Spanish Fork sits about in the center of Utah, at the western foot of the Wasatch Mountains, on the eastern edge of the Great Basin. The name Spanish Fork came from the Escalante Dominguez expedition in 1776. The Spaniards came down the canyon following the river while searching for a route from Santa Fe to Monterey. Until lately, Spanish Fork has been a farming and ranching community with 2 weekly livestock auctions. For years, Spanish Fork has hosted the Utah State Junior Livestock Show, titled The Oldest Junior Livestock Show West of the Mississippi River. This was painted on the north entrance over the main stock barn. The show started out as a breeding horse show on the city park, and many events were added over the years, like horse pulling. We also used to have the calf scramble and the pig scramble. There was always a big awards banquet and a stock sale on the last day. For years, Robert Redford had a riding arena in the Spanish Fork River bottoms. This had changed hands, but everybody still called it Redford's Arena. We like to associate with movie stars just like anybody else. I'm not sure just how Willie Nelson decided to build a riding arena up the canyon in Indianola, but I know he knew about Spanish Fork from working with Robert Redford on the movie Electric Horseman.
Hey, there's a ranch for sale here over in Bailey, 450 acres.
I always thought you should have got that place out at Spanish Fork instead of that Malibu house.
Oh, Spanish. What's the matter with the Malibu house?
The years went along and the stock show did just fine, due in no small part to the loyal and continuous support of the 4-H, FFA, and Spanish Fork's agricultural community. A list of individuals and families too numerous to do justice to. Well, I'm sorry to say that somewhere along the way, the focus of the powers that be started to drift away from looking at Spanish Fork as the livestock center of Utah. I suspect the notion of increased revenues from manufacturing seemed promising. And you feel the profit to be made from the housing market caused common sense to take a back seat, while the new homes, many of them in foreclosure, have eaten up a lot of the farm ground in the area. This has happened in nearby Payson, where the historic racetrack and grandstand have been replaced by new homes and a field of weeds. While the city is justly proud of the Fiesta Days Rodeo in July, and it gives some of the city council members a chance to wear their cowboy hats once a year, the livestock auctions are no longer in business. And worst of all, the old stock barn, with its proud logo about being the oldest junior livestock show west of the Mississippi, has been torn down and made into a parking lot. I happened to be nearby the day the stock barn was demolished. The demolition machines looked like something from the Terminator, and they were tearing down history before my eyes. I ran into the auction ring and took these pictures. There's even quite a difference in the way the city logo looks these days. The old logo was proud of being the livestock center of Utah. The new city logo cost $250,000 to dream up, and it was done by some company that's not even from around here. Well, the livestock tradition runs strong in this area, and the powers that be have changed back a little. And the people here are hardworking and industrious. We all know of Mr. Nelson's tax trouble years back, when there came a chance to acquire Willie's old riding arena up in Indianola. The locals pitched in to take it down and move it to Spanish Fork, where it now houses many events and is the new home of the oldest junior livestock show west of the Mississippi River. There are a lot of ways to say it, but everybody pretty much says the same thing. What can you tell us about how this barn came to get down here?
This was the Willie Nelson barn. This was up on Willie Nelson's ranch. When Willie Nelson built this barn, it was built up in Thistle.
And when he got in his tax trouble, he gave it to the people down here and
he donated it to the city, and they tore it down, brought it to this location here, and reconstructed it.
When we lost our barns over on the other end of the stock show, we moved the stock show over into this big barn. It's actually been wonderful to have one big location to kind of bring everything into.
I figure if Mr. Redford hadn't become interested in the Spanish Fork area and put his old riding arena there, I mean, he didn't put it in American Fork, then Mr. Nelson wouldn't have come to know about Indianola and horse arenas. And you know they remember the place because they mention it in the movie. So I'd like to think it was all meant to be.
So believe it and get ready to receive it. Now let's take back America.
Shortly after this film was completed, an anonymous donor gave Spanish Fork $3 million to build a new rodeo arena. They tore down the old grandstand and arena, but they're building a brand new state-of-the-art arena. At least it wasn't a subdivision.
25, we get 6. 2,600, 25, 600, 26. Y'all done? I'm gonna sell a lamb right here, 2,500. What? I don't remember selling lamb that high. Don't remember a floor that high.